we had our 100 draft very recently. Paddy, did you watch it? Be honest, you can say no because I didn't watch it.
No, I didn't. I kind of reflected on kind of summaries to see who'd gone where. And yeah, no, I mean it's the big sort of standout to me. I wasn't looking at sort of down the teams. The big shock to me and the big sort of like where I went, wow, like fair play, is the Welsh Fire men's team, because I think it's fair to say that last year in the 100 I think to say they never got going has probably been nice. I watched a couple of them from the press box in Cardiff. Watched them against Birmingham Phoenix and the Oval Invincibles, and yeah, they just looked lightweight all across the board, like in every department. And they finished bottom. I want to say they didn't win a game. They might have won one, but it wasn't many more. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you look at it and it's just like they needed to sort of have a bit of a revamp, and really kind of
definitely
take the 2023 tournament by the scruff of its neck. And looking at the list of players they've brought in from the draft, there's some big names there, but I think the fact that they brought in, especially the overseas players in Shaheen Afridi and Harris Ralph, you look at them and you think, okay, they want to like do everything they can to kind of avoid the disaster of 2022. So yeah, I saw who they brought in. And it's like, they should be able to compete. It's going to be tough. It's all over in a month essentially. But yeah, I think it's exactly what they need to. Yeah, just try and put last year behind them as quick as possible. I don't know if you got any thoughts on the Welsh Fire team or of the 100 in general. Was there any moves what stood out for you?
Well, you were saying about getting to watch them. I happened to also watch the Welsh Fire last year at Trent Bridge against eventual winners Trent Rockets, and there was a real difference in class. I remember turning up to the game. I went with my family, and I remember saying to them, "If Welsh Fire bat first, this game will be done very quickly." And sure enough, Welsh Fire batted first, and I think Davin Milan and Alex Hales basically took it the whole way at the end. But no, they've clearly learned their lesson. They've got Tom Abel in as well. They might have Johnny Bairstow back for a bit. We'll see how much he plays after the Ashes series. Glenn Phillips, I think, is a good addition as well. So they've gone to town and getting their purchases right. The women as well. Just on that note, I think the women were the ones that won one game. So Welsh Fire all round last year had a bit of a stinker. But they've got lots there. I think the women's sides have still got quite a lot of purchasing to go. I think we might have to come back to women's teams. By looking through their thing, they've still got quite a lot of purchasing to go. I thought that the Trent Rockets team is kind of looking exactly the same, but why would you change it? Because they were good last year, like very, very good. I thought that there were actually quite a lot of teams that stayed quite similar, like the Oval Invincibles and Southern Brave were quite similar. Northern Superchargers, I think they brought in Michael Bracewell, and Tom Banton came from Welsh Fire, jumping ship, I think, a little bit. Another one that jumped ship was Ben Duckett, and he went to Birmingham Phoenix, which I think is actually quite a good purchase from Birmingham Phoenix. I don't know where they're going to squeeze all these batters in, because they've got, you think, Liam Livingston, Will Smead, Moeen Ali. They've got, have I said Liam Livingston? Well, yeah, they say Livingston. Benny Howell. I mean, they've got so many batters. Chris Benjamin as well has done well for them in the past. They're building a bit of firepower with the bat, and I think that's always been their kind of motto anyway, is with particularly, I think Will Smead was the first person to get a century last year, very soon followed by Will Jacks. But the point is that they kind of go for it, and Ben Duckett is an example of them continuing that, really. I think the only thing that I have left to say, and I guess if I don't know what your thoughts on this, is that Babar, Azam, and Mohammad Rizwan, among others, so a few Aussies that missed out as well. I think Shakib Al Hasan missed out. Thoughts on Babar and Mohammad Rizwan missing out?
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
the talent is undeniable. What happened, basically, is the question, I guess.
yeah, I mean, it's a shock. You know, I mean, you think the sort of the, you know, there's going to be teams there where it's like those kinds of players when they're available. You look at them, and you think like, well, we know it's not going to be a gamble. You know, these are proven world class players. And you know, you think you've got these players in for a month. You know, very quick fire. You know, shortest format, and you're playing lots of games in short space of time. You know, surely you're going to kind of, you know, the point of the tournament is to bring in like the best of the best. You know, for the limited time what you do have them, and you know, to showcase what they can add to your team, and you know what your team can kind of do for them. Yeah, I think it's a shock. It's also a bit disappointing, really, the fact that, you know, we aren't going to be seeing them in some of the grounds around England, which is, you know, I think we've spoken about this before on the podcast. You know, I think when we mentioned about, you know, the Australian players coming over to the county championship to kind of, you know, acclimatise, and also, you know, it's completely different format, but you know, it's this thing of like being able to see some of the best players in the game playing in England, because, you know, at the end of the day, that's what we want as cricket fans. You know, we want to be able to, you know, pay our money and go and see them live, because, you know, it's why we follow the sport. You know, it's why, you know, we want to see kind of the best of the best. So yeah, I think just shock and disappointment, really. If I had to sum it up in 2 words, I don't know if you're of the similar ilk there, Peter. Are you sad you're not going to have a chance to see them in the cricket ground near you?
Well, I think it is disappointing. I can kind of see it, because I think the big names have the issue with the big names is that some of them have not got won't be able to give the whole time to the 100. And they're going for the big bracket. So I think the highest bracket is 125,000. I know Babar and Mohammad Rizwan, Babar definitely were in that bracket. And I guess if you're wanting to, pay that amount of money, you want that player to turn up every game. You want that player to be there for the whole of the month. Kind of like Mitchell Marsh was in the 125 bracket, and he, you know, I assume he's going to be in England for the whole of the 100 if the London Spirit get the whole way. So I can see the reasoning behind why he doesn't. I saw something really interesting on Wisden, actually, where they were discussing Babar and Mohammad Rizwan's run rate, where they're actually slow to build up, and then they accelerate towards the end. But because there's 20 less balls, that makes a difference. I like the idea, but I'm not convinced. I think it's simply to do with money. I think you value for money. That's my opinion. But I have discussed this in my article on Substack. So, you know, if people would like to go over to my Twitter and Instagram and have a look at my Substack, they can find an article here that I've discussed. I think that this is an opportunity lost by the ECB in the number one reason why the tournament exists. The tournament exists to put more people into cricket. Simple as that, right? That's what the ECB will tell you. And how are you going to attract more people into cricket? You have the best players. Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan are 2 of the best batters in the world, full stop. If they want to come play the 100, if they want to come play one game, pay it. All right, fine. Like we're throwing all this money at the 100 rather than at the 50 over game, rather than our 20 over game. We're throwing all this money at the 100, right? Pay it. Bring Babar Azam in for one game of the 100. Set him up at the Oval Invincibles. Pack. You know, sell out Oval Invincibles with the fans that he brings, because Babar Azam is a worldwide name, not just like a well-known name. He's a worldwide name. And there you go. You've done your job of bringing people to the 100, bringing people to the English game, attracting interest to the game. I think it's a missed opportunity. It's all to do with money, I think, but I think it's a missed opportunity in terms of growing audiences.